to the Dream Philly podcast. I'm your host, Dreamcast. And over the past 9 months, questions have emerged about Joel Embiid. Is he finished? Should he be traded? Is he overhyped? Well, today we will answer those questions and more. On April 11th, 2000, there was an athlete who tore his lateral meniscus. Question surfaced if his career was a wrap, but his career was far from a wrap as he helped lead his team to 5 championships over the course of 19 seasons. He also entered the Hall of Fame. That player was Tim Duncan. How did Tim Duncan manage to have such a successful career after tearing his lateral meniscus? By adjusting how he played. No longer was he able to aggressively attack the rim and dunk on his defenders. What he was able to lean on was his other strengths. His exceptional post skills, where he could turn, pump fake, and shoot the J in the defender's face. Sound familiar? Well, it should. Joel Embiid and Tim Duncan have a similar skill set. They both can post up, shoot the mid-range jumper, and they are really good at seeing the floor and getting their teammates involved. After this message from our sponsors, we will dig a lot deeper into this. Stay tuned. This segment is brought to you in part by H&K 215 Outfitters Melanin Collection. H&K 215 Outfitters is your go-to source for styles influenced by the latest fashion with added flair. They aim to inspire their customers to be the best version of themselves and to be confident in their own skin. And of course, their outfits. Visit H&K 215 Outfitters. Welcome back. Now we're going to take a look at why Joel Embiid and Tim Duncan are very similar and why Joel Embiid can have the same success that Tim Duncan had as a player. Tim Duncan stood at the height of 6'11" with the reach or a wingspan of over 7 feet 5 inches. And guess what? Joel Embiid has that same exact wingspan. But outside of those trivial facts, let's take a look at this interview, or a segment from an interview that David Aldridge had with Tim Duncan toward the latter part of his career. David Aldridge said, "Pop has frequently said that you are playing on one leg now." Tim Duncan's response was, 1.5 maybe. David Aldridge responded, 1.5? But how do you accommodate for what your body can't do anymore? Tim Duncan said, you learn to play. You learn to play around it. I've been blessed this year. I've actually felt as good as I've had in a long time. I'm not as explosive as I used to be. Not that I ever was explosive, but just playing within myself. I kind of changed my game a whole lot. I play off of those guys and let Tony and Manu and Kawhi, let those guys set things up. And I try to get in position to help them finish and do the things that I can't do. I'm not the one-on-one player I used to be. I'm not the isolation player I used to be. I don't do that stuff anymore as much. So it's just trying to find a way to be as effective as you can with what you have. These are very telling statements. Once again, Tim Duncan won 5 championships with the San Antonio Spurs. He adjusted his game. He wasn't able to do the same things, but he was still impactful. With what I've seen from Joel Embiid this year and how he's progressed as the season has gone along, I feel like he can have that same success. 2 big men having the same injury, but having the skill set to be able to still be successful. Does Joel Embiid have the same vertical that he used to have? No. The same lateral quickness? No. Will his defense be as powerful as it was in the past? Probably not. But offensively, can he still destroy defenders on the block? Yes. Can he still destroy defenders from the elbow? Yes. Can he still get his teammates involved? Yes. And does he have the necessary components around him to be successful? Absolutely. So Joel Embiid, I think, will have a successful season. But let's take a look at some of the similarities from the rosters from both of these guys. As we pull it up, of course, we know Tim Duncan had Manu Ginobili, which he was a great slasher to the basket and a great passer. And of course, we have several slashers on our team and high energy guys on our teams and that can compare to Manu Ginobili, who has that same skill set. He also had Danny Green at the small forward position. Danny Green, a great outside shooter, as well as awesome defender. And the Sixers have, once again, great shooters and good defenders as well. Had Kawhi Leonard, and we know Kawhi Leonard is great at doing a whole lot of different things. And we can speak about Tyrese Maxey as having that engine and being able to do as many things as Kawhi Leonard, and maybe a little more durable than Kawhi Leonard as well. Patty Mills, who was a spark off the bench. Of course, Tony Parker, slash to the basket, getting his players involved. So he was surrounded by a great group of guys who knew how to play together really well. I don't want to leave out Marco Bellinelli, another great shooter. Matt Bonner was able to do the dirty work as well. So, but if we look at the Sixers roster, if we pull that up next, our current roster, of course, earlier I mentioned VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey. But outside of that, we have Andre Drummond, who's developed a three-point shot, who's one of the greatest rebounders per minute the NBA has ever seen. All right. We have Adem Bona, who's able to come in and block shots, wreak havoc on the inside, do some of the things that Joel Embiid is no longer able to do. And once again, we have Jared McCain, great three-point shooter, able to space the floor. Kelly Oubre, when he's healthy, when he comes back, he's able to slash to the basket, guard the opposing team's best offensive player. We have Trendon Watford, who's had the injury bug as of late, but when he comes back healthy, he can bring the ball up the court, and he just plays with a high engine and is able to do a lot of great things. So Dominique Barlow, who's had a great season, was a great offseason pickup and has surprised a lot of people and can do a lot of great things. So Joel Embiid is surrounded by a great supporting cast, and these guys have gelled and came together. And of course, Paul George has had a very impactful year, rebounding year. So overall, to answer the question that was posed at the beginning of the segment, Embiid is not done. Embiid should not be traded. He's not overhyped. To answer those questions that have been put out there by certain talking heads, whose names I won't mention, but he's not done. The Sixers will continue to be successful because they've successfully been able to have those other players develop. And VJ Edgecombe, just as a rookie, he doesn't play as a rookie, doesn't play like a rookie. So they will be extremely successful this season, and I don't feel like there's a team in the East that is clearly better than them. You know, people can argue Detroit Pistons, but I feel like we're closing the gap on Detroit Pistons. People can argue the New York Knicks, but we shall see as Embiid continues to get himself into better shape, and his offensive repertoire has definitely been looking like the Embiid of old, and as Paul George is looking like the Paul George that he did in his last season with the Los Angeles Clippers. I think we're in store for some great things as the season progresses. But below, why don't you leave your comments and tell me what you think about what the future of the Sixers are, as well as what Embiid is able to still bring to the Sixers team, and the similarity between those two players, Tim Duncan and Joel Embiid. Once again, thanks for watching, and please subscribe and like. And we'll see you next time on the Dream Philly podcast. Peace.